Welcome to This Week in East Brunswick. This week, Jillian Angeline gets out to talk trash with volunteers at this spring's Farrington Lake cleanup. Local residents braved the chill to fish garbage from the lake and the woods at Bicentennial Park. From the other side of town, black-spotted salamanders were successfully protected from traffic on Beekman Road. Mayor Bill Neary and East Brunswick Environmental Commission member Dave Moskowitz have that story. Child protection is the story from the Brunswick Square Mall, where the first annual Child Safety Day was held Saturday. Heart disease is the #1 killer of women. On Making a Difference this week, Diane de Oliveira talks with a heart attack survivor about symptoms and prevention. These stories and more this week, including insights from Rich Walling about how the Revolutionary War impacted East Brunswick. And on a cultural minute, Irwin School 5th grader Maria Bakina talks about Russian toys and pottery.
Hi, I'm Bill Neary, Mayor of the Township of East Brunswick. Joining me today is David Moskowitz from the Environmental Commission.
Hello.
Hi, David. Thanks for coming. Thanks for serving the town on the Environmental Commission, too. You guys done a lot of good works that may not get some of the spectacular stuff in terms of reviewing plans before it gets to the planning board and a lot of the technical stuff. But there's a couple things the Environmental Commission and with your guidance and assistance over the last couple of years have been pretty exciting. One of the things has been the salamanders.
Right.
When you came to me and talked about the salamanders a year ago, and you told me the problems about the salamanders crossing Beekman Road, I never thought that I would, first of all, agree to close the road down, which we did, but secondly, the kind of exposure East Brunswick got because of your thing. So tell us a little bit about the salamanders first.
Well, a couple of years ago, I was wandering over off of Beekman Lane and found some vernal pools where spotted salamanders breed. These vernal pools are basically woodland pools. The salamanders can only breed in those pools. They fill up with water in the spring and then they dry out. And over a couple of nights in the late winter, early spring, usually around the beginning of March, when you get rainfalls, almost the entire population of spotted salamanders crosses to these vernal pools. In this particular instance, they wind up crossing Beekman Road. Beekman Road, although it's a quiet road, does get car traffic on it, and I noticed the following year that there had been a lot of road kills of spotted salamanders. That's when I brought a spotted salamander to you. That's when we talked initially about closing the road. This year we wound up closing the road.
Well, it was interesting because, first of all, I don't think the spotted salamander is something people even know exists in East Brunswick. And there's all the kinds of amphibians, there's other frogs that you talked about. It's just a nice quiet part of town that they're busy when they're having their mating season. They have to move across the road. I think it was a great idea, and I think it's pretty funny. I got the CD from Sydney, Australia,
Right.
where they talked about it. I've gotten emails from California, from North Carolina. It's been all over the place because people can't believe we actually closed the road down.
We're really at the cusp of amphibian protection. This is really a movement that is gaining a lot of speed. Vernal pool protection has really gained a lot of speed and importance over the last couple of years. In fact, just 2 years ago, the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection stopped all of the wetland permits that can be used to fill in these vernal pools. So there's definitely a recognition of the importance.
Because vernal pools are only seasonal. Well, let's see your buddy. You brought one with you. I know that.
This is one of the spotted salamanders. This is a male.
He's a little cold today, though,
He's
huh?
a little cold.
Because they're usually walking a lot more.
What's pretty amazing about these spotted salamanders is how long they live, I think. This is one of the most amazing things. These can live up to about 30 years, maybe even a little bit longer. Each of the females lays anywhere between 200 and 500 eggs. And so it's very important to try to protect them when they cross the road from getting hit by cars, because you can lose a lot of the population just by having one female be hit by a car.
And then they all get in one great big ball. You said it's a Congress?
It's called a Congress, that's right.
And they make them, he's warming up a little bit. I guess the body heat and the lights here is making him starting to move a little bit more.
The vernal pools off of Beekman Lane are not just habitat for this particular species, although I suppose this is the poster child to some degree. They are basically the oasis in the forest. They are habitats for chorus frogs, green frogs, leopard frogs, eastern newts, turtles, spring peepers, really a wide variety of species that can only use those vernal pools, that have to go to the vernal pools to breed.
Well, thanks to your, I guess your daughter, you said? Was it your daughter with the sign?
This is my son.
Your son did that,
Sam.
okay. He worked with our police department and Chuck Garman to come up with a couple signs that we can, so when we close the road off next year, we'll be able to, during the mating season, we'll be able to have the sign that says that this is where the reason you should drive carefully, and until the road's closed, you're not going to be able to go on at all. But we're hoping that we can save some of these guys' lives because they're great for the environment and they're great for our whole ecosystems.
Well, I think we've done really well this year. I happened to be at the pools about 2 weeks ago, and there are at least 100 egg masses, so that can translate into an awful lot of spotted salamanders next year.
Well, I was out with you a couple times. I mean, I don't know what an awful lot would be, but they weren't hard to find. I mean, it's not like a mass migration of thousands that you see all at one time, but just walking up and down Beekman Road, we found quite a few of them.
I saw at least a couple of dozen move across the road while I was there, and of course they move all night over a couple of nights, so I would say there were at least a couple hundred that moved across. The one night that I showed up and you were there with Fox 5 New York,
that was pretty
filming
funny, actually.
It was pretty fantastic.
Well, it was kind of eerie that night because it was so foggy.
That's right.
And we could only see the spotlight at the very end of the street. We didn't know what it was. We get up there and we found out it's a Fox News camera, and they had filmed the salamander crossing the street.
That's perfect salamander weather. They like it on those rainy spring nights.
Well, there's something else that you worked on a couple years ago. I don't want to just talk about the salamanders. Was our butterfly park.
Right.
I mean, beyond the environmental wonderfulness of it, it was also so much effort went into by volunteers from the Environmental Commission, from Boy Scouts, from so many different groups. Girl Scouts were out there. I wanted to spend a couple seconds trying to get people back involved to clean it up a little bit this spring. So when the flowers all come back in and the butterflies come home, they have a nice place to go to.
Right. Well, we're planning on having another community day. We've had 2 very well-received community days where we've asked the community to come out and help mulch the beds and plant and pick up garbage, and it's been fantastic how much has been accomplished by volunteers in just 2 short years. And we have over a half mile of walking trails already. We have 13 benches. We have a kiosk going in. And perhaps one of my favorite things that's come out of the Butterfly Park are these patches. This is the program done by the Girl Scouts. And any Girl Scout that comes out and completes a short program can earn one of these badges. This was done by Jessica Chang as part of her Gold Award. I think they're really pretty special.
Well, I think it is pretty special. I think our Butterfly Park is pretty special, too. And I've noticed the people who use the new bike path and going through Great Oak Park for exercise are also taking that path up through the Butterfly Park. So I think we've provided exercise for humans, great habitat for butterflies, and certainly an addition to town that the town can really appreciate.
It's really a special place.
Congratulations to you and the Environmental Commission.
Thank
You're
you.
doing great work.
Thank you.
And thanks for the constant creativity and good ideas that we can move forward with some things that maybe other towns are going to learn from. Saving salamanders, saving butterflies is good for everybody.
We have a pretty dynamic Environmental Commission. I'm very proud to serve on it.
Well, thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Russian toys and pottery are decorated in several different ways. I'm going to tell you about some of these art styles and show you some examples. First, one of Russia's most popular souvenirs is the doll Matryoshka. Over the years, it has won the first place in all fairs in Russia. The doll was invented long ago, but it is really only 100 years old. The artist that designed this doll was holding an egg in his hand when he thought up the Matryoshka. He designed it after a Japanese doll that also can unfold. That Matryoshka here is designed with a rose on her dress. No matter what design, the doll must have a headscarf on her head. The headscarf is a sign for a female. This Matryoshka is painted in the Belgorod style. Belgorod toys were often fashioned after rich people. The next art style is represented by this jar. This style is called Golden Hochlama. It has only 3 colors: gold, black, and red. The green leaves are made from gold and black mixed together. The last art style is represented by this ceramic horse. This is a blue ceramic style. It's a white figure colored with blue paint. Almost all the art styles of Russia have the color red in them. The color red is chosen to honor the sun. Russians celebrate a special holiday called Pancake Week in the beginning of spring to send winter away. We bake pancakes to represent the sun. We also make a big fire and burn a doll in it. The doll represents winter. I enjoyed sharing these Russian art styles with you. Thank you for listening.
Trash here, trash there, trash everywhere. I'm Julie and Angeline at the Bicentennial Park and Farrington Lake Cleanup. which will put all of the trash in its correct environment, the trash can. Come along with me as we trash talk with some of the people involved. Hi, Dave Thompson. What have you been doing at the park cleanup today?
Well, I've been helping people, showing people where they should go to clean up. We have them come here and they fill out a form, which is like a hold harmless agreement, so that their safety is their responsibility. And then once they sign in, we have them. I show them on a map where they should go to pick up the trash. We give them gloves and a bag, or multiple bags. We hope. They don't want to fill up more than one. And we walk the lake before the cleanup and find out where the areas the most trash is accumulated through the year. And then we send people out, and we send more people to areas where there's lots of trash.
Is this just in East Brunswick?
No, this is in East Brunswick, South Brunswick, and North Brunswick. We touch a little bit on Milltown, but most of the areas we're cleaning is North Brunswick, East Brunswick, and South Brunswick.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. Who sponsors this?
The sponsors are local residents, but the main sponsors are the Lawrence Brook Watershed Partnership and the Middlesex County Federation of Sportsmen's Clubs.
And who can help out?
Anyone. We have Cub Scouts helping out to adults. The youth Council in East Brunswick. We have various people who are doing community service from East Brunswick, as well as people that are doing that out behind the Middlesex County Correctional Facility. They're cleaning up behind the facility because that's a little bit off limits to most people, but a lot of trash blows up in there too.
Hi, Val. What's your role in this cleanup today?
Okay, my role here is I'm a volunteer with the New Jersey's Middlesex County Division of the New Jersey Federation of Hunting and Fishing. And what we do here is we donate the snacks for the volunteers that come out. And what that is we got the hot dogs, the coffee, hot chocolate, juices, and various snacks. And as the volunteers come back after the thing, they get a little warm up here, and basically we do that. Also with that, we help coordinate the setup for where the people are going to be going with Dave Thompson. And with that, we have people on the northern shore also with a station there for snacks also. And this is all done through voluntary donations.
Hi, Joanne. So how much trash have you picked up today?
We've picked up about 20 bags of trash so far all around the bank of the lake.
And what kind of things have you found?
Most it's alcohol containers, a lot of beer cans, whiskey bottles, a lot of styrofoam from, I guess, worm containers from the fishermen, a lot of trash like that.
What organization are you from?
We're with the East Brunswick Youth Council Environmental Committee.
In order to enjoy the beauty of this world, we need you. Don't litter, and you should throw out trash where it belongs. For EBTV Channel 3, I'm Jillian Angeline.
Hi, I'm Rich Walling. We're located here at the East Brunswick Museum, located in the Old Bridge Historic District, which happens to also be within the township of East Brunswick. The museum building itself dates back to 1860. But today I'm going to introduce you to another story in the chapter of the township's great history, and that was the role of our township and the role of this area during the American Revolution. During the American Revolution, New Jersey was known as the Crossroads, and it was known as the Crossroads for the very same reason that we're such a transportation hub today. No, we didn't have the Turnpike and we didn't have Route 18, but we did have major road networks that went through present-day East Brunswick, including what we now call the Old Stage Road. The Old Stage Road was laid out in the 1680s and was a major transportation artery during the colonial period, and people, including George Washington and Ben Franklin and John Adams and a host of others, traveled that road on a regular basis. Here today, we have at the East Brunswick Museum an exhibit that spotlights the role of the American Revolution in the East Brunswick area and on the other surrounding towns. It's up through the end of November of the year 2004, and it helps to celebrate the 225th anniversary of the American Revolution in New Jersey. So today I'm going to show you a few of the items that tell the story of this area during the Revolution, but I'd like to encourage everybody who sees this film to come to the museum. It's open on Saturdays and Sundays from 1:30 to 4, and come down and get a better glimpse and a better understanding of the rich history of East Brunswick Township. The collection that is exhibited at the museum has many items related to the county's role in the American Revolution. We have muskets, we have accoutrements, we have documents, and one of the most interesting things on display is an actual original document. It's the memo book of a Major Thomas Egbert that he kept from April through June of 1777 while the British occupied New Brunswick. New Brunswick was occupied for about 6 months during the war, during which time they raided this entire area as far south as towards Princeton and of course including the East Brunswick area. What the memo book shows is the display of the various troops that were stationed in Cranberry, which was the base of operations for the militia, and the distribution on the different roads in the area to keep an eye on what the British were doing. One of the interesting things of the British raid, which is on display, was in February of 1777, George Washington ordered Colonel Nielsen of New Brunswick, in command of one of the Middlesex County militia regiments, to harass and annoy the enemy as much as possible without facing too much risk of his own account. And Colonel Nielsen did put together a raid in February of 1777. They gathered about 200 men, both militia and continental troops, from Cranberry. They went through the roads and woods of this area all the way to Bennett's Island. Now you might ask, where's Bennett's Island? That is now Edgeboro landfill at the end of Edgeboro Lane. And believe it or not, 200 years ago, it was actually an island upon which there was a farm, a large house, and that property was garrisoned by British troops. Colonel Nielsen led a successful raid, and that story is told here in the documents with the maps, the order from General Washington, and Colonel Nielsen's report of his action back to General Washington, stating what a great success it was. One of the many interesting things that happened here in East Brunswick during the American Revolution. One of the reasons we study history and we have these exhibits is so that people have a better understanding of what Americans went through in the past. Two quick illustrations. The first illustration is an actual ledger book from Dr. Moses Scott, who operated the military hospital in New Brunswick in what was the barracks. Again, his original ledger book is on loan from Special Collections at Rutgers, and it's open to a page where he describes a visit to the widow Sherman's house at her mills. Now, where were the mills? They were in Milltown. We have documentary evidence that pushes the Milltown community back to the 1740s, and one of the great stories occurred there, and the noted tavern that used to be at Milltown, known as the Rising Sun. Another document that we have that I'll just conclude with is that the pension count of Jehu Dunham. You may remember that name because of Dunham's Corner Road and actually Dunham's Corner itself. And when Jehu Dunham was an old man, he applied for a pension from the United States government. And it's a 4-page document, a part of which is reproduced here in a typed transcription. And I'd just like to conclude by what he said regarding the War of the Revolution. Being out of other employment and necessities of country requiring the aid of every man capable of bearing arms, he was in continuous service during the whole of this winter, 1777, and up to the time the British evacuated New Brunswick, which was in the latter part of June of that year. Their headquarters was at Cranberry, but their services called them at different directions through the country, repelling the incursions of the enemy and occasionally making a sally upon the Loyalists. The duty was very dangerous. So we have the story of our community 225 years ago, and I hope that everybody has an opportunity to come down and experience this for yourself. The museum is located at 16 Maple Street in the Old Bridge Historic District. It's located off of the Old Bridge Turnpike, and its hours are Saturday and Sunday from 1:30 to 4, and the telephone number is 732-257-1508.
My name is Deputy Chief Joseph Kriza. I'm a Deputy Chief with the Prosecutor's Office in New Brunswick. Today we're here at the Brunswick Square Mall for our first annual Child Safety Day. It's a great pleasure for us to be here to be able to co-sponsor this event with the properties of Brunswick Square Mall. As you can see around here, we have several booths. The purpose of Child Safety Day is to make each and every parent and guardian aware of the issues and awareness and education as it relates to protecting and safeguarding their children. Today we have many booths with comprehensive programs that are allowing parents and instructing parents on ways to deal with the protection of their children. With the help of the Middlesex County Sheriff's Department, we're hair fingerprinting all children 5 years of age and older. With the prosecutor's office, we have DNA kits. All the DNA kits and the fingerprinting are provided to the parents for their own safekeeping and safeguarding of their children. In the unpleasant situation where a child is reported missing, these items will aid first responders and law enforcement in locating and helping the parents obtain their children back in a safe manner. We also have today gun locks that are being distributed to parents to secure firearms in their homes to prevent the accidental discharge of these firearms and injuries that occur to children as a result of such. We're also privileged to have the Federal Bureau of Investigation here today, which is conducting internet safety issues, helping parents keep themselves and their children aware of predators on the internet. We also have a computer cop CD-ROM disc, which is a disc that helps parents safeguard and monitor their children's online activities. These are valued at $40 a piece, and as is everything here today, is being provided to parents and guardians free of charge. We also have several police departments here which are conducting the DARE program, the GREAT program, and bicycle safety. This, as I said, is our first child safety event. We will be hosting other events upcoming. I would ask everyone to try to please and attend this event and to look in the media for future events that they come forward.
Hi, my name is Jill Schlopko. I'm Director of Marketing at Brunswick Square Mall. We are very happy to be hosting the Middlesex County Child Safety Day. We also have Tyler the Magician, Tickles the Clown, and the Easter Bunny taking photos, in addition to the booths provided by the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office.
If you need or have any questions regarding child safety, I encourage you to call the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office at 732-745-3300 and ask for our Middlesex Outreach and Education Unit.
Heart disease is the #1 killer of women, more than breast cancer. Hi, I'm Diane de Oliveira, and with me today is Jane Kaplan. She is a volunteer with the American Heart Association, and she is also a North Brunswick resident. Thank you, Jane, for being with me today. Now, the American Heart Association launched the Go Red campaign for women last month, but this is a year-round campaign. What is the campaign?
The campaign is being done to alert women, and of course the color red being used, you know, bright and stays in your mind, to make women aware of the fact that this is the #1 killer of women in this country, by far.
And Jane, you have an experience of your own to tell us about. You are a survivor.
Yes, indeed, I am a survivor. At age 51, wow. Without any symptoms, had a major heart attack, which I was lucky enough to survive. A lot of women do not. I was walking around with symptoms that I was not aware of, was not having regular checkups, had high cholesterol, was under a lot of stress. There were some family history involved in this. And with women, sometimes the symptoms are very vague. And until you actually have the cardiac event, you're not aware that anything is wrong.
You mentioned the symptoms are vague. The common or stereotypical symptoms, you hear chest pain or pain down the arm, maybe cold and hot flashes type of thing. For you, I mean, how did you know anything was wrong?
Well, my symptoms started actually the day before with what seemed to be like indigestion. And I took a product, an over-the-counter product for indigestion, which seemed to subside my problem temporarily. The next day, it sort of escalated to being a little lightheaded, and the pain came back. And now it was sort of not just a little pain here, but it went through to my back. Again, took the medication, and it went away. And spoke to somebody who said to me, "Boy, it sure sounds like you're having a gallbladder attack." went to bed that night, and luckily I woke up. Some people don't. And I woke up and the pain was much more severe, again, front to back, and very nauseous. Those were the only symptoms that I had. So with women, it is, a lot of times it's much more discreet. It's not necessarily the arm or the jaw. It can camouflage itself in ways that you sort of are really not sure, and you delay taking any action because of it.
And Jane, you said you did not go for regular checkups. So what do you want to tell women out there today who have never gone for checkups? And one thing that bothers me, I know I've had some problems before with my chest pains, that type of thing, and I've been told by doctors, you're young, you're healthy, there's nothing wrong with you, you're fine. And a lot of women probably hear that and think, oh, okay, I'm fine. And you said you're 51 years old, so...
I was 51 when it happened,
yeah.
Yes. I think that you really have to take control of your health care. You have to put your yearly checkup on the top of your list, not on the bottom of your list or not on your list at all, along with your pap smear and your mammograms and whatever else you're supposed to have. You need to know your risk factors as a person. Is there a history in your family? Are you a smoker or an ex-smoker? Are you overweight? Do you have a diabetes problem? And cholesterol is key. I did not know that I had high cholesterol, and that's such an easy blood test. And it should be done routinely with any yearly visit.
What is it that you really want women to get out of this? Again, it's a year-round campaign. What do you want them to know?
I would like to tell women, because of the experience that I've been through, that women are naturally, by heart, and that's sort of a pun, caretakers. But you need to take care of yourself first.
Very true.
Because you can't help anybody else if your health is poor. And with 500,000 women dying a year from heart disease, women need to know that they are more at risk with this than anything else. 10 times more likely to die of this than breast cancer.
Jane, for people who want more information about the American Heart Association, whether it be a volunteer or to get more education about heart disease, what can they do?
Well, you can call 888-MY-HEART, and also the website is www.americanheart.org. They have kits that they can send out to you and give you any information that you need to follow up and make sure that you take care of yourself.
Jane, thank you for sharing your story with us. We appreciate it.
My
For
pleasure.
Making a Difference, I'm Diane de Oliveira.